Hello and welcome to Opinions Plus. Just spent 10 minutes trying to do a video there, and at the end, brain dead set in and had to close it out. I haven't learned any editing yet, so I can't edit the dang thing, which would save a little time. So here it goes again. This whole thing about Save America. Well, let's save America. And I don't mean in that way. Make America great again. That's just dumb. They had 4 years. They didn't make America great, did they? They had 4 years. They didn't make anything great, did they? No. You know, they just didn't. So what does this make America great again? I screwed up for 4 years. Give me another chance to screw up for 4 more years. They're going to bring in terrible people, people that don't give a damn about you and me. They care about their own pocketbooks and their own prestige and their own power. That's what's going to happen. And that Trump guy says it right off the bat. I'm going to be a dictator. That's what I want to be. I want to be a dictator. Like a child. But we don't need children. And many adults, from what interviews I heard, act like children, talk like children, not educated, academic trained people, professionals, just whining, grabbing, lying people. And it's primarily on the Republican side. So I just sad to say, I don't really want to believe that, but it seems to be true. It's almost as if you're raised in that tradition. You're going to take that premise regardless. There was one person, we're talking about righteous and decency and honor and respect. And what comes back out? Immigration. Terrible immigration. Boy, you got to, impeach Biden on the immigration. When all these other administrations did nothing, it's not anything new because these idiots can't get along and can't come up with a plan because they don't want a plan. They don't care about you. Stop believing that. Find people that want to serve you. Find them. Encourage those people to run for office. Could they be corrupt down the line? Yeah, could be. Could they be stellar people? Yes, they could be. Better than the stuff you see now. This Carrie Lake woman, defamation, Rudy Giuliani, defamation. Well, I didn't do anything. But it shows the character of the person. And these sexual things, all these sexual things, they're in behind all of this crap. We're a sexual people. That's how we procreate. That's how we have population. But there's an evil trend in the background, threesomes and all these other things that go on that they hide behind, have fun doing, I guess, and then what? Hurt others. Talk about homosexuals and how to kick them out. Now they're worthless. And they know the value of a human being is not a sexual preference. His value is his mind. His value is his heart. His value is his character. And it's not the sexual orientation of anybody. Good people are good people. Doesn't matter. Prostitute or not. They can be a decent human being. They can love their children, become citizens, but due to recourse, due to circumstance, they had to make choices. Maybe choices they did not want to make. Maybe they were taken in by others at a young age and cultivated into that line of work. Can we do things about it? That Epstein thing shows shows the tendency of people to do wrong. And it's not just white men. There's white women too. There's black men, black women. Everybody gets into the whole thing. Pornography is a huge business. Is that what you want? Is that okay? Do they talk about these things? Maybe in church sometimes you'll hear some don't get hooked on pornography. But let's say don't get hooked on lying about your political persuasion. Don't get hooked about desensitizing people. Don't get hooked on the saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, because it's already been diluted with all types of immigrants. Don't get hooked on these. Change your mindset, change your ideas, change your perspective to counter this stuff. You know what to counter. People on this YouTube or talking heads don't have to tell you everything. And my particular concern is leaders of the churches do not point to the character situations, the immoral, criminal situations that surround us today and say, this is something that we have to talk about. This is wrong. You have to obey the election laws. You don't lie about them. You don't deceive things. You don't just believe some other character that comes in and says, I loaded a bunch of junk over here. Why? Because I said it. They have no proof, never had, and you guys and those people who believe it, believe it. They don't have the proof. 70 court cases, no proof, nothing, zero, end of it. Trump sent out that last little thing. Oh, it's going to do everything. It's going to, exonerate them. It said nothing. It's a joke. And yet they put it out. They have no shame. They have no reality. They just make money. It's a money gig. It's always been a money gig. And if he can get through it before he dies, he'll just making money. The last thing I saw, write in and get this Trump dollar, this amazing man put on it. He is not amazing. He has nothing to give you. Find people that have value, that have an intellect and a mind, that aren't just cut down, that don't compare themselves to Al Capone in a big shot way like some kid. I've got 91 indictments. Al Capone had 3, and he was a murderer. Look at me. That's childish. It's worse than childish. I don't even think children would do that. Children of some maturity. You don't want your children to live like that. You don't want your children to be that way. But that's what people are going to. It's obvious. Put that in your hearts. As I've said 100,000 times, you don't have to go talk to your neighbors. You can. Go ahead. When the opportunity happens, talk. But talk. Say it when the opportunity is there. You don't have to go knocking door to door, although many people say it's the best thing to do. I mean, obviously, it's a good thing to do. You have a commitment, regardless. The flaw of democracy is that everybody's views are counted. Everybody's. The things you think are reasonable, then the things you think from the nutty buddy. And remember, the founding fathers didn't give a hoot about women, about blacks, slaves, indentured servants, indigenous people. They didn't care about them. They were not part of the all men are created equal. Educated landowners were the all equalized people to lead because they had a better perspective. You're going to put your faith in some guy that doesn't have an education, can't read. Most people back then couldn't read. There's a difference. Think about it. I plead of you. Think about it. Democracy is under threat. We are under threat. If you want a dictator, by gosh, you can have a dictator, I guess. Or some clown who thinks he can be a dictator. There's people pulling his strings. He's on the downward slide, health-wise, mentally, monetarily. He's a corrupt guy, and why all this stuff is happening at the last bit? They should have been doing this for 20 years, but they didn't. The judicial system isn't the greatest thing in the world. It is biased. It's biased to the rich. It's biased to the powerful. Don't be, but it isn't biased to just Republicans. And Joe Biden doesn't just have the power to just say, okay, guys, you go attack this or do that. I was in the federal government. I did serve in law enforcement. And we don't do those kind of things. Just like that rumor about 87,000 armed IRS people coming out to get you guys. They didn't, did they? It's a sick world, man. But we can heal it. How? Pretty simple, really. By honoring the values that make people great. Not warrior great, just good people. You honor that, and everybody you see, hold people to task, educate your children to be that way. It may not happen, but your efforts will pay off all the time in the long run across the board. It builds into a whole psychic world, a synergistic framework of energy and purpose that all people can have. And it builds. And it can build even with this YouTube thing. So put your heart before. Your heart leads you to the good. The light of Christ leads you to the good. All major religions in the beginning, don't listen to all the gibberish that comes out of it, because men manipulate a lot of this stuff. What do? They screw it up. Go to the good. Keep hope alive. I know I say it ad nauseum, but it's so critical. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, subscribe. If you can hit the like button, send the link over to someone you think might have some value, receive some value from these things. Comment, please comment. Put some comments down. But we need it. We need it today. We need it today. Did I say that? We need it today. We need your voice. We need your heart. And if you go point, counterpoint with a lot of people who just believe what the hell they want to believe, it isn't going to work. Because they have different premise. They don't want to listen to you, number one. They want to win. That supersedes everything. And that's not the way to be. We want to work for the good of a society and therefore the good of ourselves. Have a good day. Bye for now.